From the banner of Stockton, I bring you word from the battlefield. Providing you with weekly game previews, game recaps, and even interviews with your favorite players and coaches, this is the Crusaders Dispatch Podcast. As always, I am your faithful messenger, Rod Villagomez. And welcome into another episode of the Crusaders Dispatch. I am your host, Rod Villagomez, your faithful messenger, as it were. And yes, we are here today to talk about the Stockton Crusaders because that is exactly what this show is all about. As you'll notice, sitting right next to me is the man behind this whole thing. And before I introduce him, I mean, he's such a humble guy. He's not going to go off on himself, but I will, because if you've met Coach Bryan for one half of a second, you know this man is enthusiastic about everything he does and so passionate about the people that he meets and everything that he's putting his name behind that it's hard to not, Coach, absolutely adore your projects and everything. And now you're bringing one to Stockton. So, Coach, head coach Kurt Bryan, he is the head coach of the Stockton Crusaders. I think I've pretty much done a lot to fluff you up so far, but it's so great to have you on the show.
Well, I really appreciate it, Rod. We're very excited to bring Arena Pro Football to the city of Stockton in the Central Valley, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, yeah. So you are bringing the Stockton Crusaders into town. We talked a little bit on episode 1 about the history of arena football in Stockton and the Stockton Lightning and the AF2, and we're no stranger to the arena football game. Now we're getting it back in a different form, but I want to talk a little bit about you before we talk about the team at all, because we're getting to know you, Coach, as a head coach and why we should put our full faith behind the Crusaders. But you have a very long and storied history as a head coach, and we're getting a lot of experience in you behind the sidelines.
Well, yeah, I mean, as some people might know that have followed a part of my career, I had never really been around indoor football or arena pro football. Prior to 2019, I was introduced to it. I was asked to interview. It went great. Obviously, things worked out. Then the pandemic hit and shut us down for a year. By the way, for those that don't know, when we launched the Oakland Panthers, the pandemic, we were shut down. We were about to go on national TV, and they shut us down on Friday the 13th, 24 hours before kickoff. So anyway, long story short, and then I just fell in love with it. I love coaching. I love mentoring. I love being a part of a team. I love team building. I love interacting with the fans. And we really enjoy developing players in the game and for life outside of football. Our organization has a great track record developing young men for life after football as well.
Yeah, and so you got your coaching start a while back. Talk us through how you even got into coaching in the first place.
Sure. While I was attending the Chico State University, okay, very proud, go Wildcats, I knew that I wanted to be a coach ever since I was a little kid. And then I quickly learned in order to move up the ladder, in most cases, you have to move your family all over the country. I said, nope, that's not going to be for me. I even knew that at about 18 years old. So I went to work. I got on the Chico State staff, worked my way up. I was on Mike Bellotti's staff for 2 years. He later became the head coach at Oregon. And then I just started learning as an intern and just everything, setting up drills, film, the whole kit and caboodle. Then became the offensive coordinator at my alma mater, Piedmont High School. Then got promoted after 6 years doing that to head coach. I actually was the head coach there twice. My second incarnation, we developed something called the A11 offense, which features interchangeable players across the ball on offense. And then coached Menlo College, St. Mary's College, and then a bunch of other places. A lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And then that, of course, led you to where we met was the Oakland Panthers of the Indoor Football League at the time where you were about to launch. I found and I caught wind of a team that was getting close to me, at least where we were. And I was like, I have to have a show. I have to have a show. Let me reach out and see what I can do about this. I reached out to you. Sure enough, I got a response almost immediately. Yes, come here, do this. We're going to get you hooked up. And I got to tell you, it's what made me want to start this show again in the first place, is knowing exactly how welcoming you were to such an unknown quantity in me to actually start a show. And that just speaks a lot to your character too.
Well, we appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, our slogan for the Crusaders is "Together we win." And, you know, we really believe that. And, it's funny because together we win, and then coaches go through tough times, right? And there's a lot of sayings in the industry. One of the best sayings that I ever heard from an administration was, remember, KB, we support you win or tie.
There's no lose in that one.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so then you go on to coach the what becomes the Bay Area Panthers. Obviously, Oakland didn't get through. Bay Area is what stuck.
Right.
You stood on the sidelines of them for a couple of seasons. So talk to me about your transition into the arena/outdoor game and what it is that you found fascinating and compelling about it that made you want to come back.
Well, number one, you want to always work. Most coaches want to work at the highest level with the best talent against the best coaches. So that was a great experience, having never done it before. And then when our group started looking around to bring a team back to Northern California, we kept returning to the city of Stockton. The arena is one of the top 10 arenas in the country easily. It's so beautiful, so nice, right on the Delta. It's a great setting. For those that aren't as familiar with the Central Valley, it's the closest thing you're ever going to find to Texas football outside of Texas. And myself and some of my coaches, we've been all over the place regarding football, scouting, tryouts, coaching. So the Central Valley, huge population, top 20 market, 7 million people and growing. And then the way they embrace football, back in the day when the Lightning were playing, they averaged over 5,000 fans a game. Now with a bigger population, a higher income, we think it's going to do really well at Adventist Health Arena in Stockton.
Well, and then also the fact of the matter is that we are sports starved. I mean, we have the ports and we've had the ports and they're fantastic and they bring us fun during the summer months. But then once they're done, we haven't had anything. We haven't had anything to take us through the winter. Now we have our hockey team back. You're bringing football back. So I feel like this is part of a bigger resurgence of Stockton. And I wonder if that played any sort of factor into bringing us back football. Did you consider that we hadn't had it in a while and it was time for more?
Yeah, sure. When you're in the Bay Area, respectfully, right? There's so much competition right around the corner. You're fighting for that entertainment dollar, the fans' attention. But the other reason we wanted to bring a team to Stockton was that in Arena Football 1, we were interviewing with different leagues, right? Our group. And we chose Arena Football 1 for a bunch of reasons. One of the reasons was our protected territory is 90 miles around Stockton Arena. So we can draw people from Sacramento, Folsom, Granite Bay, Lodi, Elk Grove, Stockton, Manteca, Lathrop into the Bay Area and past Modesto. That is a huge footprint with no other pro football in town.
Yeah, and again, that's just something that we've been wanting for a while back in Stockton. So again, for one, I'm glad that you brought football back to Stockton. I'm glad you brought the arena game back to Stockton. I am familiar, obviously, with Arena Football 1, and those who listen and watch know that I've been a big fan of Arena Football 1 for a while now, for the last couple of years that it's been around. And I just got super excited. I mean, when word came a couple of years ago that Stockton was going to get a team, obviously, I was right behind it. I was literally one of the first people through the door to try to get and covering it and have a good time with it. But yeah, I mean, again, Stockton, it's so super exciting to have the team back. But also, I want to talk about it because it's been a couple of years, right? The first announcement that we were expecting a team back was 2024, but you've been through some hurdles. I said in the last episode too, that you could have very easily walked away. You want to build a community in Stockton. What was it so important that Stockton be that community building for you?
Sure. Well, most organizations, when they start a team, it's usually one very wealthy owner, and that's fine. That's great, right? Well, we had a big owner ready to go, a big investor ready to go. And then that owner had to pull out respectfully. His lovely wife did not want to be involved in anything having to do with sports betting. And sports betting is going to be legalized in California in the next couple of years. The tribal nations are getting behind it. They're forming a syndicate. 39 other states have sports betting. It's coming to California sooner or later. So when that happened, we had to start all over. So we had some hurdles, we had some potholes, some speed bumps. We also had people who tried to go around us. We had people who tried to go around us to the arena. We had people who tried to go around us to the league, but they didn't realize we were light years ahead of them. We had an arena deal. We had a league deal. We just needed to tie up some things in order to get the job done, and we did.
Beautiful. I mean, that's the whole crux of it. And that's why I'm glad that we waited and we were patient in bringing you here under the right circumstances. Because again, if you don't build it on the right circumstances, it's just not going to work. And we've seen that time and time again. All right. So as you start to put together your team, coach, you're in the process of starting to recruiting players. Now you're thinking about this, right? I mean, obviously there's a lot more to get to, but I know your head is focused now on the product you're about to put on the field. What does it take to be a player for Coach Kurt Bryan?
That's a great question. Number one, character. I mentioned that after the press conference to a nice reporter. I said, listen, you can have all the talent in the world, Rod, but if you're not a team player, we're going to have to part company with you. And that's okay. We want you to play somewhere else if you don't fit into our culture, what we're going to do. It's something interesting on the exit interviews after our first season with the Panthers. 32 players were interviewed. 30 wanted to return to the Panthers. So we did something right as an expansion team. One retired and one decided to move on and try something else. I'll take that ratio 7 days a week and twice on Sunday, right? You want everybody to be happy. It's not always possible, but team culture's number one. Talent makes you a better coach. And then you're going to be the first person to break this news. And not that it's anything earth-shattering, but it is innovative. So one of the things that I learned about Arena Football 1 was on the airplane, going back to the league meetings, I was reading the rule book. And you know me, I love rule books, right? You find out what you can and can't do. So I'm going through the rule book, and I turn to one of my coaches. I go, read this. And he read it. I read it again 10 times. And by the time we got to Chicago, and I got the answer. So what we're going to do for the Stockton Crusaders on the offensive side of the ball is we're going to run the A7 offense because the center can never be eligible. So we're going to make all players fully interchangeable game breaker athletes like we did in the A11 in outdoor football. Now we're going to run the A7. So we're going to have a center, 2 tight ends. Only 1 tight end per play is eligible. He has to declare prior to the play. And then our combination of receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, sometimes even 2 quarterbacks in the gun, right? So here comes the A7 to Stockton. We're going to go for it and see what happens.
Can't help but just innovate no matter where you go, right, Coach?
Yeah. I mean, we want as many game breakers on the field as possible.
And that's the difference between a winning football team sometimes and not, is finding those athletes that can do multiple things on the field. And I mean, we know Ironman football was a big part of arena football for a very long time. So your wide receivers had to play DB, and that's just the way it was.
Yeah. In fact, that was asked at the press conference. So imagine this, and for all the listeners, right, and the viewers, imagine this. Our team breaks a huddle or no huddle, right? Because we'll do both. We'll no huddle, we'll sugar huddle, we'll go regular huddle. But they break the huddle or no huddle. Now they come to the line. The tight end on that particular play, right or left, he declares. We get set. We shift. One player goes in motion, and away we go. And we're going to make sure that those players are all interchangeable, because you don't want the same guy going in motion over and over. He's going to get exhausted. So we're really going to find multi-tool players is what we're looking for.
Amazing. So as we start to build on that or start to build that team, where are you looking? How can players, because I know when we start shows like this and when we are announcing ourselves as media personnel for teams or for leagues, we get a lot of messages from a lot of different players that say, hey, how can I get my tape in front of X or Y or Z? So, Coach, how are you finding these players? How can they find you?
Great question. So in early to mid-August, we're going to launch our free agent player intake portal. So if you're a player or an agent, because a lot of agents will submit a whole bunch of guys, right? So if you're a player, you're going to go there. You're going to click on the free agent player intake, and there's a whole questionnaire. And we build the questionnaire. It's not a Rorschach test, but it's very, very extensive, because we want a guy to tell us who he is, not just submit his film. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Not just submit his film and say, please sign me. So there's a whole questionnaire he's going to go through, submit. That populates our database. Our director of player personnel, our general manager, myself, and my staff are going to see that instantly pop up on the board. So each coach is going to have a region that he's going to be responsible for. Let's say one coach has the Southeast. One coach has the West, etc. And our GM and myself, we're going to kind of overlord everything. And then it's just a matter of boom, 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 boom. What are we looking for? Let's get on the phone. Let's talk to this guy. There's going to be a lot of interviews. He's going to interview us. We're going to interview him. Hopefully it's a good fit. And if so, we'll sign him.
And you've done, again, this process over and over again with the Panthers and with everything else that you've been involved in as a head coach. And so, obviously you've got this down. And so the Bay Area Panthers obviously went on to win a ring. And there it is. And so for me, and I think for the rest of the fans in Stockton, we really wanted to know. I mean, again, we've seen this before. We've kind of seen this whole thing play out. We've watched teams come, we've watched teams go, and we really just want people to be as excited for bringing the sports as we are to watching the sports. So I'm hoping that they get to see that in you, because I've seen it in you before.
Well, we appreciate that, and I appreciate that. It's interesting. We've done 3 press conferences, Oakland, San Jose, and now Stockton, and they were all great. But that one at Stockton, there was a ton of people, a ton of energy. You could just feel the buzz in the room. It's like everybody was walking a little bit high above the ground. And then I really believe that the people of Stockton are tired of being second fiddle, and they want a first-class organization, which we're going to deliver. They want a great product, which we're going to deliver. And then the other big thing for those that don't know anything about yours truly or our staff or organization is we're all about the community. We're all about the families. We're all about helping, all about the kids. We're going to be heavily involved in the community. We have big plans, very detailed plans. Some of already are listed on our website and social media.
Yeah, and you had an entire flag football team at the press conference too.
Yeah, we did. We sponsored the All Stockton Flag Football League, and they brought about 20 players wearing the Stockton Crusaders jerseys to the press conference, and we wanted to acknowledge them. That's a big deal for those kids, right? That's a big deal for us. Everybody's working together, and that's what counts.
Indeed. Speaking of Crusaders, I know a lot of teams allow to vote for names and to be able to pick names, but you brought the Crusaders with you. What was the decision behind the name of the team?
You're breaking up, Rod. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can hear you. I was just saying, what was the decision behind the Crusaders?
Oh, well, I'm a Raider fan, right? You might be able to tell when you look at the logo, right? Okay, right. I'm a Raider fan, but I didn't want to make it so Raidery. So I was like going through a bunch of different names. We were talking about it as a group. And I thought, well, Oakland Invaders is taken. That's been used before. Crusaders. I was like, okay, silver, black, white, and we need another color in there. So how about a little burnt sienna to kind of make it look good? And we kind of tested it. It came out great, and we ran with the Crusaders.
Love it. Yeah. Crusaders, because you get both. You get kind of both of them here. Obviously, you get Raiders fans and you get Niners fans in the area. So I think if you went too Raidery, I think you'd get a lot of people that were, no, this is too Raidery, and the Niners fans would revolt. So
we want both. We want Raiders fans and Niner fans. We want you both.
I mean, I'm a football fan, but I'm definitely a Niner fan, and I may have just revolted a little bit too if you would have called it the Raiders. But I mean, real quick, we're not going to take too much more of your time because I know you got a lot of stuff going on to prepare for this. But talk up your team. I want to hear you talk about your team and the team that brought football to Stockton, because I know they're all hardworking folks that just want to see a good product here like you.
Yeah, you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you don't have the people that know how to launch it, know how to operate it, know how to own it on a day-to-day basis, it doesn't matter, right? It's not going to go anywhere. So it starts at the top with our great team president, Scott McKibben. I mean, he's ran the Rose Bowl. His bio is incredible, right? So when we were talking about this and I had the idea of bringing a team to Stockton, the first call that I made was Scott McKibben. And this is basically what I asked him. I said, Scott, I know we were talking about in the past bringing a team to Stockton. I think the time's right. I'm only going to do it if you're in and you'll be the team president. If you're not in, I'm out. I'm not going to do it, because you just hand the keys to him and he knows what he's doing, right? He knows this person, that media deal, that sponsorship deal. It's unbelievable what the man knows. People call him every day asking for advice from all over the country. I've been with him on a bunch of different projects for 13 years. It's unbelievable the people in the industry that call Scott McKibben looking for advice. I'll say, who was that? He go, oh, that was the guy running this, this, and this. He just wanted my opinion before he pulls the trigger on this idea. I'm like, God, I'm so glad you're our team president. right. And then having a general manager is key. We didn't have a GM when I was with the Panthers. So Greg Pierce, I met him when I was at Modesto Christian. He's 25 years AD at Modesto Christian. Wonderful human being. He retired from there. I met with Greg. He said at the press conference, the questions I asked him, he's so great about managing an organization, what we call look long, see short. Okay. So he's going to take care of all that day-to-day stuff. And then we're going to collaborate on personnel. Obviously, I'll have final say on personnel, but I'm going to talk to him about certain guys, and he's going to either support it or not. We'll work together. And then operations. You've met Paul Hewitt before. So Paul Hewitt is our VP of Ops. Paul is the kind of guy that he does everything that nobody else wants to do, okay? He's going to set up, the huge rebound nets in each corner of the end zone, the back of the end zones. He's going to set up the field, the dasher pads. He'll have a crew working with him. He's going to do all the ordering. So he's our VP of Ops. Elizabeth Zappacosta, Lizzie, she's our executive administrator. Look at her bio. She was running banks, right? So she's so happy to be involved in pro football in the community. My assistant head coach is John Schaefer. Look at his bio, right? He's Mr. Manteca, okay? And just a great person, all about the team. And then my coaching staff is great. I've got some guys already solidified. I'm going to be searching for a defensive coordinator over the next 2 to 3 months. So we'll get that done. And then I'm going to call the plays on offense. So I'm excited about that. And I'll build it with my offensive staff. So everybody's going to have input. And then if I ask them for a suggestion during the game, if I'm dealing bad cards, they'll say, hey, what do you guys think? Boom, let's do it, right? We don't care how we win. We just want to get the job done.
So excited. And I know that you're a very positive person. I'm a very positive person. And sometimes when you put more than one positive person in a room, it sort of spills over. But I will say this. Is there anything we missed? Is there anything you wanted to address to the fans of Stockton before we start to wrap this up?
A great question. Well, I'll end it like this. Greg Pierce mentioned at the press conference, our general manager, it starts with the fans, right? Without the fans, we got nothing. So that arena holds almost 10,000 for an arena pro football game. So right now we're collecting information for fans for season tickets and single game tickets, and it's already populating our board. We're getting lots of requests for season tickets already, which is awesome. Okay. So we targeted it right. We guessed right on this. So tell your friends about us. Average ticket, $25. So a family of 4 can come to a game for $100, and the weather's always good inside the arena. It's going to be perfect weather, right? So tell your friends. If you want to be a business sponsor, there's a sponsorship deck on our website. You can contact us. We're going to work with you. Together, we win.
Indeed. Yeah. And you get to watch teams from all over the country, from Albany, from Nashville, from everywhere in between, Minnesota. Like, there's a lot of great teams that are going to be coming to Stockton to play. And that's going to be super exciting. And you get to watch all the games, even if they're away. Well, especially if they're away, come to the games, but watch them when they're away on YouTube and TV.
Yeah, the league has a national TV deal. Scott McKibben will get us a great network deal for the Central Valley, whether it's ABC, NBC, whatever it's going to be. And we'll have a radio deal too. So national TV, regional TV, streaming, you're going to be able to watch every game no matter where you are, anywhere in the country.
Music to my ears. All right, Coach, we are going to allow you to go back to work so that you can bring us a quality product here in Stockton. I want to thank you so much for your time. Where can everybody find you? I know, you don't want to be found too much because you don't want people flooding down your doors, but if they want to contact you regarding anything, what's a good place for that?
Sure. Go to StocktonCrusaders.com. There's an email address on there, info@StocktonCrusaders.com. They'll make sure it gets to me. I read every email, as you know, Rod, right? I try to get back to everybody as fast as I can. And it's all about the fans, the players, the sponsors working together.
Indeed. StocktonCrusaders.com, of course, to go get your season tickets as well and figure out where you want to sit when you watch the Crusaders take the field. Once again, head coach Kurt Bryan, he will be on the sidelines for your Stockton Crusaders. We'll be back again. Look, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be breaking down the league. We're going to be talking about the teams. I'll be doing some team features so you guys can get to know the Arena Football 1 and who we're going to be playing up against, who coach is going to be coaching against. And we're just going to get to know the league as we start getting ready. Once players start getting announced and all that other good stuff starts to happen, we'll bring you more. But Coach, definitely you're going to be on several times over. You can't get away from that, and looking forward to the rest of the year. So, all right, everybody, we'll see you guys next time. And until then, let's go Crusaders.
Go Crusaders.